on because we're doing story time, but thank you very much. I will gladly say hello. But yeah, so big fucking kick in my head, and that's just like this whole game. It's just like I am lying down. I have accepted. I am changing, and then it's just like, and they keep stepping on my face, you know, like that was like the experience this game, basically. But I say it with a smile at this point. It all turned out okay, you know, so to speak. Dread Imperatrix Gia, thank you for the sub. I think I best just like get right into it. I don't think there's anything else I need to say about what's coming, except that, like, this game was the end of a season. It was the end of 3 years of story. It was the culmination of everything that had happened for the last 3 years of Xenostrand. You know, like, all the stuff in the background, all the stuff that was going on, like, it's coming to a head with our fight with Chernozog, the Demon of Anger, and the Orb of Corruption that he had in his possession. And all of this game was leading to this final fight where we would go to Chernozog's realm, we would kill him, and we would take the orb, and we would do whatever it is people wanted to do with it, right? Like, and all of this game was sort of building towards that, like, final conflict. But this game pulled absolutely zero punches. There was not a single moment of mercy the entirety of the weekend. Not a single one. Not a drib of mercy. It was a brutal, horribly difficult game. Friday night, once we got all set up, our camp set up and stuff, we got there nice and early. We set up our camp, and everything was good. And we got told that we were gonna start the game coming in together. And this was like the Normandy. This was like the fucking storm the demon beaches of our town and take it back. Part of it. Part of the story, right? Like, we gotta arrive and take back our town from these demons. Because we'd been, like, staged in another town up until now. And now we were coming back to Sylvanwood, which is the town that we got run out of by demons a year ago. And we're gonna take it back. And so we're all standing in the dark, in the cold, listening to the captain of the, I don't know, one of the Tizoth, like, nightly wings, telling us, like, here's what we're gonna do. Here's the plan. There's a barrier, and that barrier will stay up until you destroy the first 3 focusing crystals. There's one over there, one over there, and one over there. And he's pointing, like, across the entire fucking site. Like a kilometer in each direction, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like, anyway, it's probably not, but it's just like they are far, you know, and it is far to do. The barrier will stay up until those crystals are destroyed. Once those crystals are destroyed, then there are 3 more crystals on the inside. We have to destroy those to get to the fort. Those 3 crystals each are guarded by a demonic captain. And those captains are different and have different stuff and do different things. And I don't really know what they are. Except that one of them looks like and he points at one of our guys, like one of the Gen Vestment, and goes like, one of your tribe, but like with horns. I'm like, okay. That sounds like something we should deal with. One of them is wearing dragon tabard, you know, like one of the knightly order, and one of them is like a dual wielder. Those are the 3 captains that I know of. Since we've seen through the telescope. And then once we've destroyed those crystals, we go to the fort. We take back the fort. They have like a giant gnomish mechanical device. It was a tank. It was basically a tank. They called it a Spasenkrieg, which is probably like some old German tank word, but it was a tank. They had a tank at the fort, so we had to kill that too. Anyway, we get the directions, and the captain says, once they know we're here, they will not stop coming. The demons will not stop. You know? There will be no end to them attacking us until we succeed. So we have to move. We have to get it done. We have to push through. There will be no rest. You know? And everyone in the game is here because there's no other place you can be in character at the moment. And we're all gonna push through together. And I'm like, alright, we're ready. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? What's the plan? Are we gonna separate? Go to the various points, like, in smaller groups? We're gonna move together? And I think eventually the consensus was that we were gonna, like, move together as a big group and just, like, try and like, move to each of the points together. You know? So the fight begins. And I've decided, like, this is the game where I'm gonna burn all of my resources. I have, like, and I'm not joking, I have, like, 30 Discord catalysts sitting in my pocket at the beginning of this game. And what that means is that I can rip one up and cast my 9th level spell again. So for a Demon Siege, of course, I've memorized Exorcism as my 9th level spell. So I can just go, Exorcism, Mana Harvest, Exorcism, Exorcism, Mana Harvest, Exorcism, Exorcism, and just, like, kill these demons, right? So I'm trying to push the group forward. And if you've ever been in a group of tentatively non-combat / don't want to get hurt / combat LARP characters, getting them to move forward into danger is like the fucking most annoying thing in the whole goddamn world. I'm like, yes, there's a demon in front of you. Charge it, motherfuckers. And they're, you know, like, they're just, like, standing back with their shields. They're waiting for the demon to attack. We're not gonna get an opening. That's not what this is. They're gonna keep attacking us until we destroy the crystals. So the least amount of movement that you do, the more demons we have to kill. Like, it was like eminently frustrating as a character that, like, didn't mind sort of, like, wading in and chopping my way through with a Psyblade. I'm not saying I didn't get my ass kicked a bunch of times, but that's what happens when you're literally at the front of every encounter the whole fucking game for 4 days. But anyway, this first one, I was like, we're going hard, and I'm just gonna exorcise demons and like, keep moving forward. And we find the first crystal after a bunch of time, and we destroy it. And then moving on to the second one, the group is just too slow, and I grab up a bunch of people, and I'm like, let's go fucking kill it. There's, like, 4 furball guarding it. I went to go look, like, on my own, because the captain was, like, pointing out where the crystals were, and while they were pushing towards one, I sort of ran off on my own to the other to just, like, scout it out, and I saw a couple people guarding, came back, and I said, there are a couple of people guarding that one. I don't want to waste our time. Let's go. And we just got a small group of, like, Jen Vestman and some other Leandrite elves, and I think, I don't remember exactly who was with us, but we went, like, quickly. We ran instead of walking at this, like, really slow, there are some demons in front of us and we're scared pace, you know? So we, like, ran over to the next crystal. And as we got there, we realized there's a minefield in front of it, like traps. There are, like, traps and tripwires all over the place, like, getting towards it, and we can't figure out a way to get there. So Angeline turns to me and goes, I'll get it. I'm like, good, all right, we'll watch your back. And he goes, Shadow Walk 1, 2, 3. Goes out of game because Shadow Walk allows you to just, like, you know, walk through shadow, basically. And he walks over to the crystal, and the couple of guards that the crystal has. We're fighting the ones that have come out to us and you know, doing that. But there's still a couple of guards on the crystal, and Angeline Shadow Walk 1, 2, 3, comes out of Shadow Walk near the crystal and goes, magic cower, and sends the guards running and like fights one of them down and then starts smashing the crystal, and then they start coming back and he's still smashing the crystal and we can't quite get it done, so he has to like back out. And then we have to go back in and we you know, like it's a whole thing. There's like a big brutal combat where I thought definitely we were gonna get smashed, but we managed to break the crystal and get the hell out of there without anybody dying. We tripped some mines and some people needed to be picked back up, but we got out of there. Then it was to the third crystal. I do not remember this one. I feel like maybe it was just like there were some demons and we rushed it down. But it was on like the far side of the site, so we had to fight our way all the way back across the site doing this to destroy the third crystal. We managed to destroy that, and then our Gen Vespin group was just like, fuck it, go for the horned Gen Vespin's crystal. We know that there's a horned Gen Vespin there, and we're gonna deal with it ourselves. And we run towards the crystal, and there's no one there. And we're looking around, there's no one there, and we step forward and we smash the crystal because hey, like there's nobody here. And then behind us, demons appear. And one of the demons, the horned Gen Vespin that we saw, is described as visibly Iman, like visibly Woodfey Iman. So Iman had become a Gen Vespin and cast aside her Woodfey body some time ago, like through a race change. And it was like some corrupted, discarded version of her former corpse. And it's looking at us, and she's like, who, what, how? And she's like, you left me behind. And she's like, I didn't abandon you. And she's like, yes, you did. Corrupted Lionheart, she says, and like activates a ritual ability, which Lionheart makes you invincible for 10 minutes. You cannot be hurt. You cannot be damaged. You cannot be stopped. You are invincible for 10 minutes while you are Lionhearting. And then at the end of that 10 minutes, you take all the effects of the stuff that you've taken during the Lionheart, basically. And so we've smashed the crystal. The crystal's gone. But there are like 6 demons and a Lionhearted former Iman throwing corrupted Sybil magic at us, which is like light magic, but through a corrupted source instead of through the real source. So instead of I invoke Sybil to inflict light bulb, it's or I channel Sybil to inflict light bulb. It's I corrupt Sybil to inflict light bulb. You know, she's doing like the corrupted version. You know, which is bad, obviously. And because she's Lionhearted, we have like no way to kill her at all. She will kill us dead. Because we just can't stop her. So instead of fighting these demons, I just went, run now. And we just booked it. Like all of us just ran through the line of demons, took a couple of like bam, hit, you know, as we like bust through this line of demons, and ran towards the middle crystal so that like at least if we died, we die in visibility of other people seeing us die instead of here in isolation where we will all take a death, you know? So we bust through the line of demons. We run, and we make it to the group. But I get caught by Evil Iman webbing me as we're running, and I'm stuck. But everything moves past me. Like I get stuck, and Evil Iman's like, don't waste your time with her, you know, like, kind of, like, leave her, we'll get her later, like, move forward past me. So I'm stuck, I can't help. And I don't really see what happens for the rest of the fight, because there's, like, 8 minutes of cutting me out of this fucking web to do. That, you know, some of the Argent Guard people do, who are one of the other groups, with, like, shields and plate mail and human stuff. I don't really know. They cut me out because they found me in the web. I heard that one of the crystals was guarded by a huntsman, which is like a fae thing, but it must have been some kind of like corrupted version. One of the crystals was guarded by like a huntsman, and the other one was guarded by a dragon, like a corrupted dragon knight, who was really annoying to kill because dragon knights have this annoying ability to like come back to life through Life of the Firstborn, which is like one of their abilities, and through like Soul Egg and shit like that. I don't really know, but it was annoying to kill, basically, because we killed it and then it was back, and then we killed it and then it was back, kind of thing. So we destroyed all the second row of crystals. Then it was just to reclaim the fort. By the way, this whole time, we haven't stopped getting regular spawns of demons. There has been no moment of reprieve at all. We have been moving, and we have been attacked. It has been demons and human cultists trying to stab you in the back. The human cultists will get you for like 8 body with a critical in the back if you're not watching, you know? So there's a lot of like watching your flanks and things spawning around you, and like demons infernal walking in and attacking us, and then when they die they go away and they infernal walk again, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. This whole time. There has not been a single moment where that has stopped. Just to give you an idea of like the pressure. So our resources are draining as we do this, and we have to fight this fucking tank. I spent most of the tank fight killing other stuff, like Balrogs and demons and whatever popped up that was trying to like stop the people who were actually doing the tank fighting. I spent most of the fight doing that and like trying to sort of crowd control the like respawns. But I mean, even I was getting like, this is 2 hours into game by this point, basically. Like, we have been slogging, we have been fighting, we have been moving, we have been running, we have been defending ourselves, we have been scared and full of adrenaline for like 2 hours. I swear to God. And we're fighting this tank, hoping to God that we kill it, and eventually we do. And we reclaim the fort, and finally the night is calm and quiet, and we can go to our camps and we can sleep. Holy shit! Like, it was like probably about 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and a half of like, I hope you're ready to fight, because that's what we're doing for the next fucking forever. And that sets the mood for the entirety of the game. Yeah, that sets the mood for the entirety of the game, basically. That's how the game went pretty much the whole time. Every mod that was out that we had to like go and engage with felt like a final mod. You know, every fight was like the last fight of a game. It was like a fucking freight train of like, I hope you're ready to endure some shit. And I mean, the NPCs put on a great show, and the plot members put on a great show, because they were just as like just as tired and fucking, you know, wanting to stop as we were, right? Like they have to attack us constantly, that kind of stuff. But so we managed to capture the fort. The captain says like, find your camps, get rest, and be ready for tomorrow. And so we did. We went straight to sleep. Like, there was really nothing else to do after that. It was like, go back to your camp and pass out. I know some people stayed up, like, you know, until 7 in the morning doing, like, rituals and shit. Not me. I went to bed. So, Friday night passed without incident. And then Saturday morning, I had to start putting my plans into motion. So, my demonic patron had asked from me, Niles Tramas had asked from me that when the Orb of Corruption and the Essence of Chernozog are available, that I send the Orb to the Far Realm, and the Essence of, like the Halo of Chernozog to the Far Realm. That I send them to the Far Realm, to Nostramus, to give them to my patron, right? That's what I have been asked to do with the two most powerful things that we're going to see this entire time, basically. There's just like, all right, cool. That doesn't sound really difficult at all, and I bet you there aren't a million people who are going to say that's a bad idea. But Saturday morning was about talking to people and figuring out who had what plans, and seeing if I could somehow pull off my plan, my plan for the orb. So I went to various people, and the general plan is that they wanted to put it into the Grey Elven vault that had been created to hold the orb. And that they wanted to destroy the essence of Chernozog, because why would you leave that undestroyed, right? So once we kill it, once we beat Chernozog, destroy the essence, put the orb in a Grey Elven vault. Now, that's no good for me, because that's not what I wanted, so I'm like trying to convince people that it would be safer if you put the orb in the Far Realm, because when you're trying to contain corruption, you don't put your sewage in your drinking water. You put your sewage in the sewer, right? Like, why not surround the orb of corruption with corruption and like depravity equally as bad? Therefore, what will it be able to do? That was kind of my pitch, and it was mostly working. I had a couple people on board to just like allow me to do these things and so forth. A lot of people were like, well, I mean, you know about demons, and you know about this stuff, and you know about these things, and like, I'll take your advice, and I'll consider what it is you're saying, and all that kind of stuff. And I felt pretty good about, maybe I would pull this off. Maybe I would be able to do this, because you know what my patron had offered me for these things? My true name. I would get my true name back. I would be free. I would have no one to answer to but my power. The shackles would be removed. I would have no further obligations to my patron after this. If I could pull this off, I would be a free agent, you know? And I was like, hell yes, I want that. I want that so bad. I want to be a better person, and I want to not have to do these horrible things. I want to be like free of this like threat looming above my head. I'm not going to pass that up. Like, I have to do it, right? And I even had Iman on board. Iman was like, yeah, the idea of putting corruption with corruption makes sense. And I don't know about the essence, but the orb certainly should, like, we could put it in the Far Realm, 100%. You know, like, I had people on board. But so here's where it started going badly. I'm trying to order things in my head. I'm sorry I didn't like write anything down or like have any of this sort of pre-planned as I'm talking. But there are 3 days worth of things, and I'm trying to make sure that I do them in the right orders. Saturday. Okay, no, first it was the Arbiter stuff. Arbiter stuff first. So Saturday, I started hearing that my people were being questioned about my witchcraft. Like, the Arbiters were sniffing around, and they were asking Helene about whether he knew any witches, and they were asking Iman about whether she knew any witches, and, you know, like, very pointedly those people, and very pointedly my group, and, like, the law was sniffing around, and I was wondering why, and I found out that there are new laws. there are new laws. There are new laws that the town is under since like a month ago or something. I don't really know when they were implemented, but I only saw them this game. And right there, smack dab on the front page, it says the practice of witchcraft is punishable by final death. Right there, smack front page, punishable by final death. If you are a practicing witch, you will be killed until you will no longer return. And the arbiters are sniffing around. You know, somebody has fucking spilt the beans. After 2 goddamn years, somebody has spilt the beans about me being a witch to the law, right? And I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool, nice, great. So one of the other things in the law, yeah, I mean, about time. But one of the other things in the law is that those who harbor witches will suffer the same fate as the witch. And then I'm thinking to myself, everybody in this goddamn town knows that I'm a witch. And has known since I moved here. Like, it's never been a secret. So, guess who's been harboring me for 2 fucking years? The entire town! Everyone! Because you know who hasn't reported it in 2 fucking years? Everyone! And so I'm thinking to myself, how can I leverage this? You know? Because, like, yes, I'm a practicing witch, and Aeryn recognizes that, like, witchcraft is bad. It's a bad thing. Consorting with demons? It's not good. Doesn't help you. Don't do it, you know? Other witches should die. I know what I'm doing, but I don't trust any other witch to do the same thing that I do, you know? And she recognizes that there's going to be a punishment here. Like, they know that I'm a witch. Somebody has told them. And it will come out. And either they will come to my camp with a death squad, or I could go see them. So I marched my ass to the arbiters, to the arbiter camp, and turned myself in. And I went, I am a practicing witch. Right? And they were like, so you're turning yourself in. You're admitting to your witchcraft. I'm like, yes, I am. But according to your rules, everybody in town should die. I'm like, what? And I went, well, it's been 2 years. Every person whoever reported it to you in the last month or so has known for however long that they have lived in this town. So has everyone else that has ever lived in this town. They all know I'm a witch. All of them. It is not a secret. I have been open about it. And nobody has reported it to you until now. If that's not harboring, I don't know what is. So, if you'd like to kill me until final death, feel free to kill everyone else as well. You know? And we negotiated back and forth a little bit, like, however, I'm willing to die once. I'm willing to die once. Be executed once. If you hold off on punishing anyone who is associated with me. I can save you that. I can save you that trouble. Kill me once, execute me for my witchcraft, and I can save you the trouble of killing everyone in town. And they were like, I think because you turned yourself in, we can accept that as a punishment. Final death is only the tip of the capital punishment, the highest scale that we could give you. So we could execute you once, and then have you promise that you would never cast witchcraft again. And any further reports about your witchcraft would be taken very seriously, and you would be hunted until your final death. And I went, that's not acceptable to me. Kill me once, give me permission. And she's like, I can't make that decision. I have to talk to other people about that. I cannot make that decision. I don't have the authority to do so. And I said, all right, well, now we're in a position of, like, what's it worth? What is it worth to you? Where's the how do we bargain this out? You know, what can I do to acquire permission? Yeah, and and so I put on my business voice, my demon dealing voice, to have like this talk with the Arbiter, and you know, she was saying stuff like, well, any further witchcraft I'd have to report to the White Raven Alliance, and we don't want to risk our agreement with them. And I'm like, well, you could just not tell them. You could just say nothing. You could just turn a blind eye to what I'm doing. She's like, you're making assumptions about my character that I don't appreciate. I'm like, just trying to find the bargain. You know, I'm just trying to find what I can do for you that works for you. And, so she says, I've heard that there's a camp that's trying to kill my deputies. If you can go and assure me that they will not do that, that they will listen to you and maybe not go after my deputies, then perhaps we can talk again. Come and see me in an hour, and I will have spoken to my superiors, and you will have done this for me, and we will talk about your punishment. I am letting you walk out of this office now, assuming you will come back, because you turned yourself in. And I went, of course! So, off I went to the Leandra camp to speak to them about not killing any deputies. You know, so I went to their camp, and I went, Salon, are you planning to kill any of the Arbiter's deputies? Apparently the Arbiters heard rumors that you're going to kill their deputies. I would take it as a personal favor if you didn't kill their deputies. He's like, we're not trying to kill their deputies. We would never do that. We have no plans to kill their deputies, nor have we any idea of why they would think that we would kill their deputies. I don't know how honest he was being, but these are the words he said to my face. So I was like, cool, problem solved. And then I left. You know, like, I can't force them to tell the truth, and I have done everything that I promised to do, which is go talk to them and assure the Arbiter that that their deputies will not be killed. You know, that's it. So we waited a little bit, and I talked with Iman and Helene and all of our group about like what was going to happen, and about the fact that I was probably going to be executed for my witchcraft, and that someone had told on me, and that I'd saved everybody. I had saved everybody's lives by turning myself in. You know, this is a key point, right? Whoever dobbed me in for my witchcraft, they better be feeling pretty guilty right now. Cause guess the fuck what? I'm a nice enough person to save you all from taking some serious fucking consequences. I love it. I love it so much. I get to be the good person. Like, Aeryn gets to be the good person, but also, like, in a very morally superior, like, haha, fuck you sort of way. Like, you can think what you want about my witchcraft, but I saved you all from some very nasty arbitration. So anyway, went back to the Arbiter, with him on this time, because I knew I was gonna be executed. And the Arbiter says, I tell her that I've got assurances, and that's all good, well and good. And she says, good, well, then I can offer you this. The orb needs to go to the Grey Elven Vault. The essence of Chernozog needs to be destroyed. These are the Coalition's wishes. Do these things, and then we can talk about provisional permission with restrictions. I said, all right, done. After a discussion with Iman, there really was no other way. I couldn't negotiate anything else. She's like, these are not my terms, these are the Coalition's terms. I would have to speak to officials to get anything else, and that's just the way it is. But you can see my issue here. I have now made two conflicting promises. One to the law, one to my patron. To my patron, I said, of course, I will get the orb. And I will get the essence. And I will bring them to you. And I have said to the law, of course, I will get the orb. And I will take it to the vault. And I will put it there. And I will destroy the essence of Chernozog. I now have conflicting promises that I have made. And I was thinking to myself at the time, what I was thinking to myself was, if I'm a free agent, I don't think it'll matter. So, I'll ignore the promise that I've made to the Coalition. Because who fucking cares? They'll execute me, and then I'll ignore my promise to them. And I will become a free agent. I will be free of my witchcrafty shackles. And then I can be of actual service to the Coalition. Like, real positive service was my sort of thought pattern at the time. I'm like, that's okay. I can make this promise. It's fine. I'll just ignore it and do this other thing. It's fine. But Aeryn doesn't like breaking her word. Ever. So the whole thing was like this really big conflict in my head because Aeryn would have to lie. And Aeryn doesn't lie, really. It's just not a thing that she does. When she promises something, that thing will happen. When she says something, that thing is true. She doesn't make shit up or say things that she won't do. So there is like a moral quandary for her personally in making these two promises separately. I even told the Arbiter, I'm like, I've already promised the orb and the essence to someone else. And she's like, I don't care. You know, like, break that promise. You know? Your promises to demons mean nothing to me, sort of thing. I'm like, alright, well, that's fair. And eventually I had to make the promise, and it was like my first moment of like, holy fuck, this is gonna be the worst. This is like, I can already feel the emotional turmoil like in my heart, you know. And then I was executed. I agreed and was executed. The Arbiter stood up, I stood up, and we stood, you know, across from each other, and she goes, are you gonna resist? No. If I touch you, am I gonna fall asleep? You know, it's a witchcraft thing. Like, no. Alright then. She places her sword on my chest. Killing blow 1. Killing blow 2, and I'm like, wincing as this like sword is driven into me, and she like does the whole like underarm stab, you know, thing where it just like goes all the way through me and just pulls it out, and I just flop onto the ground after the killing blow is done. Yeah, I was expecting a decapitate. I was expecting like a 10-body decapitate, but no, it was the killing blow. So the killing blow went off, flop onto the ground in my death count. I can feel Iman's hand, like Siobhan, holding my hand, the hand of my corpse, like because she'd been there, like witnessing, basically, and you know she was unhappy, obviously. Iman and Aeryn are a pair, and you know, seeing your significant other die is a difficult situation. But she knows that I'll be back. My spirit is strong, and I'll survive. And that was the first death. That was the first death that I took on Aeryn. I went through the resurrection circle. I resurrected, and that's how it was. You know, I was welcomed back and told what happened over the last hour, because you forget sometimes if you don't get the 1 in 10. And that was that, right? Like, and that was my law trouble kind of over, right? I thought, for sure. Because, hey, they didn't say anything about not casting witchcraft now. They just said they'd talk about provisional permission. Yeah, I had to be told about my promise and like refilled in on what I had agreed to and what I had said, which is why I had him on there witnessing so that I could remember. Um, and so I was like, well, they said they talk about provisional permission, but they didn't tell me I couldn't do it right now. At least I don't remember that they told me that they didn't tell me that I couldn't do it right now. So we're still good, you know. I can continue to do what it is I do. Was it the witch next? I think it was. I think it was the witch next. That was on Saturday, right? Was it Saturday or Sunday? Witch. Pretty sure it was Saturday. Sunday was kind of quiet. Other than that. Sorry, I'm kind of talking to myself because I gotta figure out the order of things. Because it's all blur for me. So I think the next thing that happened after some rest and some food, and I'm kind of skipping all the like we're sitting at camp having a talk, eating sandwiches and stuff. Oh, we got to meet our new Gen Vestment friend Aeryn, who is Just a Dave's character. Just a Dave came up from Minnesota to play at Underworld with us and joined us as a Gen Vestment, which is pretty fun. We've started to cultivate a working relationship with Just a Dave's character. He seems like a very reasonable sort. So yeah, after we'd had lunch and so forth, there's this we hear in the distance of our camp, Infernal Walk 1, Infernal Walk 2, Infernal Walk 3, and then there's a demon. And I hear, sense Aeryn? I'm like, here? And he starts walking up the path, and I went, let me deal with this. I stand up and I go and speak to him. And he's like, can we talk? Your patron has a command for you. I went, all right. So we go off to talk about what this was, and he says, Chernozog's most powerful witch will be performing a ritual in the area soon, and if she succeeds, you'll all die. Chernozog would like, Nilstramus, our mutual lord, would like you to kill her. Kill her, please. That would be a feather in the cap of success to take away Chernozog's most powerful witch and to kill her forever. And I said, all right. And he goes, we know you've been making certain agreements. Let's just say that this would be the kind of thing you could do to mitigate future failures. I was thinking to myself, okay, good. Yeah, and he was gone. And we agreed to kill Chernozog's most powerful witch. We were told that this witch, well, I was told that this witch would be strong enough that we'd need the town, not just our group, but the town. So I had to rally everybody into a fucking war band to go and step on this witch and wait. I had to wait for word from my demon friend before it was time to go, but we had about a half an hour to gather. So after about a half an hour of us like waiting for the call, Colin comes over in a white headband, Shaper in a white headband, comes over and goes, you see a trail of blood start leaking out from the ground in front of you, just welling up. No one else can see it, only you, and it leads off in a direction towards where the witch is. And so I stand up and I start following this trail of blood, and I'm like, everybody come with me, follow me, this is where the witch is. And we march our way to the mod area. And I was like, okay, there's going to be demons. But when I thought there was going to be demons, there was like 10 NPCs, like, to the nines with real bad demon shit, you know? It was a mass of demons. And in the center of the ritual circle, in the mod area, was the witch performing her ritual on what looked to us like a blood golem. Blood golems are super scary because when they are created, you fill them with spells. They have as much body as you put in to them. In a factor of 25. So if you put one body in, they get 25 body. They're immune to most magic because they're golems, so they have no spirit. And like 100 other reasons why they're really, really bad. And I was told the ritual she's performing is Adrenaline Rush, which is a ritual that will add 150 body to anything, give it plus 20 strength, then give it a 5 magic threshold, and 3 dismembers as per the mercenary class skill. That's what the ritual does. It does that for an hour to whatever you cast it on. She's casting Adrenaline Rush on a blood golem. If she succeeds, we're all dead. That golem would be swinging for 20 body, and it would have a 5 magic threshold and like thousands of health, right? If she succeeds, we're all dead. All of us are dead. So I'm trying to get people to push through these like respawning demons that are coming up in front of us. They're these demons that are swinging for 10 magic venom. So 10 magic is fine. It's just 10 magic. It does to your armor. But venom is a carrier where if it hits your body, you're poisoned. And for the next minute, you're in like extreme pain, or I don't know if it's minute or more, but I can't remember. But for the next minute, you're in extreme pain. If you're a caster and you don't have combat casting, you can't cast once you've been hit by venom because it's like coursing through your body. And then at the end of that minute, you take 20 body, I think. I can never remember the specifics on venom, but it doesn't matter. It's a lot and bad. So we'd get poisoned and then have to back up and then take 25 body and just fall over in the back line, like that kind of shit. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. So there's a lot of cleanses and, purifies and so forth going around. Trying to cure this stuff as people got chewed up by these demons. I was trying to get at the witch, and I managed to get around the backside, and I had the attention of like the golem had looked at me, but then Tiki, one of the witch hunters, threw an arcane counter magic witchcraft circle into the circle. So the circle went down, the ritual failed, and as soon as that happened, I ran forward and planted a shatter skull into the back of the witch. And she went down like a sack of potatoes. I think probably she would have had something, but she didn't, like, Tammy didn't seem sure, so she just went down. And then she exploded in a cloud of blood, as witches tend to do. Because another ritual is that at the end of your bleed count, you can explode in a cloud of blood and disappear and reform at the nearest witchcraft circle. She did ask me if I had a circle up, which, suggests that if I did have a circle up, she'd have reformed there, but I didn't, so it's fine. Anyway, we got the witch, and then it was just like the golem to contend with. And I swear to God, it took us 5 minutes of wailing on this thing, like everyone hitting it to kill it. It had something like 12,000 body. It must have. Like, something insane in terms of health. Like, it would not go down. And it was swinging for 10 body and just, like, casually throwing magic that, like, incapacitated people or knocked them down or whatever. It was just, like, it was a monster. It was a monster of a thing. And while we were fighting the blood golem, we were dealing with constantly respawning demons. So, not only was the blood golem a problem, but so were the 10 magic venom fucking swinging little demon shits. It was a whole thing. And so we finished up there, and I'm like, okay, well, she escaped, so that's not really success, is it? She's not dead. And as we're heading back into town, lo and behold, she crests the ridge again, the witch and all of her demons, and attacks us again because, like, there must be a witchcraft circle nearby that she is resurrected at from her like blood ritual, and we have to fight her again, and we manage to take her down again, and all the demons again. Like, oh, fuck, such a hard fight. Um, and then the Gen Vespin are like, well, we're gonna go back to camp. Like, we're going back to our camp. We're gonna get some water, like recharge a little bit. And as we're heading back to camp, we see, I think it was Skull was like running down the path, and there are demons chasing him out of the path from our camp. And I'm immediately like, oh fuck no. That bitch better not be in my camp. That's my fucking camp. You know? Because the demons are like pouring out of the direction where our camp is. And I'm thinking to myself, well, fuck. Like, she must be there. You know? And it turns out there was an old, like, witchcraft henge from one of the witch NPCs from a long time ago that they used to locate near where our camp was. So they like, spawned out of that. But everybody had already, like, left. You know, this wasn't the whole town. This was just us now. You know, because everybody had kind of been like, oh, she's dead. And then, like, wandered off to their, you know, their various places. So it was just us. And I was not having it. And I swear to God, there's a path that leads down to our camp. I'm about to head down it because I think there's some demon fighting going on over here. And I'm like, I'll go down the path to the camp to get to the witch. Great. And I turn to go down it. And there are, like, 7 demons coming up the path right now. Like, right towards me. And my first thought was, fuck. And then my second thought was, they're in my fucking camp. So I summon a psionic blade, which is like my lightsaber, my mind lightsaber. And I stride forward all on my own, by myself. Like, there's some people behind me, I think, but I felt like I was completely by myself. Like, nothing in front of me other than demons. And I stride forward. And as the demons come up, I just go, spell strike sleep. Demons down, spell strike sleep, demons down, spell strike sleep, demons down, spell strike sleep, demons down. And I'm just pushing through this, like, column of demons coming towards me. Okay, that's 4 sleeps. Conjure a new Psyblade, because you can only spell strike 4 times and then it expires. Conjure a new Psyblade. Spell strike sleep, the last one for my last sleep, and then spell strike race change toad on the very last one. Step over its body. Like, I just carved a fucking path. It was like Darth Vader in the corridor with the rebels, you know? Like, I just carved a fucking path through these guys. And I marched towards camp. And lo and behold, the witch is there. By herself. No demons in sight. She's alone. And I have arrived by myself. So instead of attacking her, what I do is I go, it is such a pleasure to finally have a private moment with you. Thank you for allowing us to have this moment to talk, witch to witch. I think that there is a lot that we have to offer each other. Ritual gaze paralysis. Bam! Got her with the ritual eye beams! And she just stiffens up. And I walk up. And I plant my sword in her chest and I go, Killing blow 1. Killing blow 2. Killing blow 3. And, you know, just shove my psionic blade through her chest, basically. And she drops. And then I have to wait to see if she, like, if she dissipates, into blood, right? I have to wait to see if she dissipates into blood, because if she does, she's still alive. But I've just killing blowed her, so her bleed count is already over. She doesn't have a bleed count. So I realize she won't dissipate into blood. Her bleed count, she doesn't have a bleed count. I killed her from alive, so she's just in her death count. No bleed. So she's lying there on the ground, and I wait 5 minutes to see if she'll dissipate. And the corpse stays. She's dead forever. And I feel like I have fucking won in an amazing fashion, you know? And people have caught up by this point, and they're just, like, watching me watch this body. And as soon as we realize that the body's not going anywhere and that she's dead, like, she's permanently dead, Iman says to me, you should cut out her tongue. And I went, I should cut out her tongue. So we, like, pulled her tongue out, cut it off. I got this witch. I've got a tag that's 0 silver value, witch's tongue, in my pocket at the moment on Aeryn. But she also had a magic item that I got to loot, which is nice. I like getting rewards. I like getting stuff. It was a leather bracelet that allows you to cast once per day cleanse. I need to look cleanse up because I'm not entirely sure what it does, but once per day cleanse from a leather bracelet. And so I would say that was one of the moments where I felt the most sort of like victorious this whole weekend. Like, the weekend was almost worth it just to say, like, a couple of demons and a witch cannot stop me. Like, I will destroy them. I will carve my way through them. You know? Which, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Honestly. Yeah. So, there's that whole deal. What else? How many deaths since any this time? I heard that the death count was something like 24. 24 player deaths total. But anyway, regardless, continuing my story. What was next? I think I went to sleep after that. I had some food and water like I wanted to, before that witch fucking showed up. And then I took a nap. I think I was exhausted. Like, super exhausted. And some stuff happened that I didn't fully know about and still don't fully know about. Apparently there was like something with an angel of Sybil and some other shit. I don't really know because like I was asleep. But as I woke up and was like getting ready to get back into the evening, Iman came back to camp and was like, we can't do the plan. You know, like Sybil has told me that we can't do it. We can't, like, I can't give the orb to Chernozog. Like, I'm not Chernozog, to Nalstramas. I can't give the essence to, I can't send the orb and the essence of the Far Realm. Like, Sybil has told me that I cannot do those things. And I'm like, shit. Fuck. Because I have been threatened. I don't think I mentioned this, but I've basically been threatened. Like, if I don't get the orb and the essence, bad things will happen to me. And my patron has my true name, so that bad thing could be I am summoned to hell and whipped for 300 years. You know? Like, that could be the bad thing. You know? That sort of thing could happen. So I'm like, fuck. Like, Sybil has told you can't do this. You're sure? And she's like, an angel said that we couldn't do it. And I didn't know what to do at that point. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, what are my options, right? I have some options. Those options are do the thing anyway and burn everything that I love to the ground. Kill him on, burn my camp, destroy everything I've built, and make my patron happy. Or fail my patron and do what the coalition wants, what Sybil wants. Lock the fucking orb away in the Grey Elven Vault, destroy the essence of Chernozog, and then probably suffer like a crushing existential destruction at the hand of my angry patron for ignoring their desires. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Both were like, they were untenable, right? Like the situation was just like, it was just like, what do you do in that place? This is what I mean by like the game was like emotionally and like it was just soul crushing. It was just step on my face the entire game. Like the whole game was this, basically. And Iman says, "What if Sybil could protect you?" And Aeryn doesn't like this plan. I don't like this plan. Because I don't want to fucking cast aside my pride and beg for the help of a god that probably hates me. Really. I don't want to do that, right? But it seems like the only way that I might survive, that I might come out of this without, like, finaling, you know? I don't really know what to do. I either burn everything to the ground and succeed my patron's wishes, or I ask Sybil for help. I ask Iman's god, the god of the hunt, for help. I was gonna fix this problem myself. Aeryn was gonna be a free agent if only this last fucking thing could be done. If only I could just do this last thing. But it's not in my power because I'm not willing to kill Iman. You know? Like... Ah! So, I have to let go of my pride. And I say, like, yeah, I'll ask Sybil for help. Sure. And, like, Helina's worried because also, you know, like, Chernozog has Helina. I mean, Chernozog, fucking... Alstramus has Helene's true name as well. And me and Helena agree. We're like, if we're doing this, we have to do it all the way. This is the end of our witchcraft. This is the end of our road. We can't do it anymore if we want to survive. If we want our people to live, if we want our swarm to survive all this, we just, like, we have to stop. And we, like, shook hands on it, like, we'll find a way to get our names back, we'll find a way to figure it out, but, like, we have to choose now. And we shook on it, and it was, like, a really great moment. It was super good. Like, Ryan is a great role player, and I really felt, like, the emotion in it, you know, like, in agreeing that we don't know what the plan is and we don't know what will happen, but that, like, we had to do something differently, like that we had to change, and that we can't do the witchcraft shit if we want to live. Like, if we don't want to kill everyone around us, we have to change our method. Like, it's heavy, you know. And so we had a hunt that evening. To close the Sybil anchor, we had a hunt to do. And it was basically like, who was it that went up? 5 of us went up there. It was me and Iman, Skull, and Umaga. And we went up to the Sybil anchor. And we prayed for it to be closed. And we got a message. We got a message that like, there was a beast that had what was it? A spirit beast that had manifested somewhere nearby, and that we needed to find it and hunt it. We spent like a good 45 minutes probably wandering around trying to find this thing, and eventually we found it and captured it with a bind and a snare, and like pulled it out and dragged it back to the place where the anchor was, and we killed it there. And it dissipated and like floated into the sky, and the anchor was gonna close. And while we had Sybil's attention, I said my own piece. I said, like, Sybil, because of the people that I care for, and because of Iman, I can't do something that will put me, and in not doing it, will put me in great danger. So I promise here to you that I will change my ways if you protect me. And I pulled out my Wicked Garden Circle ritual scroll, which is like the witchcraft ritual scroll, to make the circle. And I just ripped it, folded it, ripped it again, folded it, ripped it again, and just like held the pieces out. And Tammy, the shaper that was with us doing the anchor stuff, was like, the rest of the ritual scroll like disappears in a flash of light, as if like flash paper, like when you light flash paper up, and it just like, it's gone. The rest of the scroll disappears in a flash of light. That's all I got. I went, all right. And then it was time to sleep. I have made 3 promises now. The whole game was such a stress. It was so stressful. Oh my god. It was so stressful. We went to bed, and Sunday morning we were awoken rudely by some hellhounds. Like some loud howling outside of our tent. And I was just getting up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I look through the gap, and it's like 7 NPCs raring to go, and Aerolith's stuck at the back of the camp, gets like mowed down. Iman was outside and sort of divine wards and hides in it, and I'm like, oh god, is this the time we die? I'm trying to decide like what angle I'm gonna take here, and then I'm just like, no, fuck this, none of my people are dying. Psionic Blade, push my way out, sleep, paralysis, sleep, like the usual fucking like rigmarole. With all these demons, and I just like try and hammer them down. And at this point, Umaga gets out of his tent, busts out, fucking stabs him to death with a stiletto. Like, it went okay, but it was one of those things where it's like, if we were a slightly weaker camp, that morning mod would have killed us. We'd have all died. Like, if we were a slightly weaker camp, it would have been bad. But thankfully, I'm quite good against demons, and especially ones that don't have, too many, like, resist magics and shit. So it worked out. It was another one of those moments where I was like, yeah, a couple demons? Fuck that, I'll kill them all. I'll kill them all real well. Like, it just makes me feel good. And the thing about this, like, you might be thinking, wow, Elf, like, how many spells do you fucking have? Like, how are you blowing through this shit? I have Mana Harvest, which allows me to burn a catalyst, and then you get a spell back. So the higher level ones, I need Discord Catalyst if I only want to burn one. But for stuff like Sleep, I can burn like lesser not Discord Catalysts and get them back. Like, how many spells do I have? Yes, I have spells. you know? Basically. So Sunday... Yeah, I just don't have those catalysts anymore. Yeah. Burned a fucking... I burned, like, probably 40, 50 catalysts over the course of this entire game. Not all of them were mine. Sometimes I was like, give me Discord catalysts, and people just did so that I could blow exorcisms into things' faces. But I probably burned about 40, 50 catalysts this game. I think that was then the undead mod. So there had been a bunch of rituals that we weren't involved in that were like to do with the sentient items that people had to open the portal that would eventually lead to Chernozog's realm. Sort of thing. It was like the main deal of the event. But we weren't involved in the rituals required. We just had to defend the fucking circle when things came rolling in to do bad stuff to it. So there was an undead mod that came in that was ridiculously difficult for us. We were all prepped up to fight demons, and then it was undead, and that was a bad situation for us. When I say undead, I don't mean like a couple ghouls. I mean like 2 death mages, parlor lich, fucking death knights, just all the shit rolled in on us. And they were in the fort trying to corrupt the ritual that was going to allow us to go to Chernozog's realm. So we had to get in there and fuck their shit up, like so that we could get through. And I swear to God, it was the most difficult slog of like almost the entire event. Like we couldn't get in. It was just like wasting death after wasting death after wasting death after fucking, necrotic blast after necrotic blast after like all kinds of shit, right? And I'm sitting at the back like basically not wanting to break my promise to Sybil. I still have witchcraft memorized because there hasn't been a reset since I made that promise. I haven't had a chance to reset my skills. I still have witchcraft memorized. And I'm like, I could do something, but I would have to break my word, to do it. I could kill that death mage, but I have to break my word to do it, And it got so bad, it got so dire that like we weren't able to push in. Like people were not getting in there and we weren't making any success. So at the very end, I was just like, Sybil, you better understand, like, this is for my people, this is to keep them safe, this is for my pack, yeah, here we go! And I went into the fort and just went, race change toad, and the guy's like, resist, and I'm like, race change toad, resist, mana harvest, race change toad, and eventually I got him down. Like, I hit him a bunch of times just trying to get through all the resists. And he went down, and then everybody could kind of push in, but, like, because it was a choke point that he was throwing packets into, it was just, like, up until that point, it was just, like, ridiculous. Nobody could get in. Nobody could do anything. So I had to act, and afterwards I was fucking kicking myself. I'm like, I broke a promise to a god, like, to save my people. I would, like, oh, fuck. Like, just bad. I didn't want everybody to die. I didn't want our whole mission to fail because the portal was corrupted. I didn't want any of that, Yeah. It was bad. It's bad. Anyway, no repercussions from that. Not immediately, anyway. And it was kind of like some other stuff happened. I seem to remember there was some like Furbolg stuff, I think, that we dealt with. Some Amras stuff, rescuing some Ursa from some Gen Ursa, which are like wild elves from some Amarath. We did that. And then I don't really remember what happened on Saturday afternoon. There was some like PvP drama at one point, but I wasn't involved in it, so I don't really know what happened. The really intense PvP drama was on Monday, but you know, that's I'm getting there. Um, yeah, honestly, I think I was mostly passed out Sunday afternoon. I think I was mostly passed out. Like I was either in camp sitting in my chair fucking dying, or I was asleep. Unless there was something that directly involved me, that was where I was. I needed it. I was like, I'm not a very physically fit person. Let's just be honest. And like, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to do all this shit. Um, and that's mostly. I think that was mostly my Sunday afternoon. Other people could deal with other stuff. I was at the vanguard of every fucking important shit that happened pretty much at any time. Then I had like Amon and I went to go rest, and I had a private conversation with Amon because you gotta have those. And the conversation was longer. It took us probably about 45 minutes, maybe an hour of talking. But I'm gonna boil it down for you because like a lot of it was like tense silences and like harsh words and so forth. But what it basically boiled down to was Aeryn expressing to Iman that she can't make another decision than the one she has made because Iman is there. And that is the only reason. Because she is unwilling to kill Iman, she cannot do anything but what Iman asks her to do. You know? She cannot give the orb and the essence to her patron. Because to do so would mean having to fight Iman directly. Because she has been told that I can't do that. It basically came down to if it was anyone else in my way, if it was N, if it was Skull, if it was Umaga, if it was anyone else in this camp, I would kill them and I would move on and I would do what I fucking have to do to survive and to get stronger and to be powerful. But because it's you, because it's fucking you, I can't and I won't, and so I can't. Like, basically we had that conversation, you know? The conversation where it's like, I think people forget that Aeryn is like inherently sort of a scary psychopath when it comes to her own personal power and pride and her own things to gain and all of that kind of stuff. And that like Iman is the sole exception. Like she is the exception to the rule. And in this case, even in such dire circumstances, she can't do anything about it, you know? And then Iman says, I think it would do you well. 10 out of 10 would die to further Aeryn's goals. Thank you, Angeline. She says to me, I think when you rememorize, you should do so in front of the altar to Sybil. You should pray to her when you rememorize. And Aeryn is in like a fuck Sybil, fuck this. Like my pride is worth more to me than her protection sort of like place. You know, like my ability to stand up on my own is worth more. You know? But I know that I need it. I know that without it I will be in dire jeopardy. That my pride will cause me to die, you know, maybe. So we rest for a bit after this talk. Iman leaves, and she says, I'll be right outside when I go to reset. And I kneel down in front of the shrine to Sybil. And while I'm rememorizing, I rememorize only psionics. There's no witchcraft on my sheet after Sunday night. Sunday night reset, like at 7 p.m., psionics. No witchcraft. Just psionics. When I rememorize. I do so in front of the shrine. And my prayer to Sybil is basically, hi, Sybil. Fuck you. I'm doing this for Iman, and if you'd like to protect Iman, then you should protect me as well. I'm doing this for Iman. I am changing for her and her success. She has successfully been the light in the darkness. Do with that what you want. That's basically it. And I went to plot camp and I told them that shit. And they're like, noted. Highly noted that you only memorize psionics. Highly noted that you only memorize psionics. And also note that you weren't attacked by a Balrog in your sleep last night. Like, after the Sybil, anchor and stuff. But I was distraught. Like, I was in such a bad place. Like, out of game. Like, my emotions were running really high. And I had to sit with Tammy at the plot camp for a little while and just cry it out. I was so stressed. And like the whole game has been pressing on me to do things that like I don't want to do, really, like that are hard and difficult and like on an out of game level that are basically like, that cool unique thing that makes you super special and awesome and cool, that witchcraft that you do and that stuff that you're an expert at and all of the things that Aeryn has done for the last 3.5 years. Yeah, you need to take that, rip it up, and throw it in the fire. Like, the game is telling you, the world is telling you, your partner is telling you, your camp is telling you, everything is telling you that you need to take that thing that you love doing, that thing that makes you cool and special, and you need to stop doing it. You need to take 2 years worth of step backwards. And that's, it's hard. It's hard to do. I'm heavily, you're heavily invested. And the thing is that, like, I try and put that aside, right? On an out-of-game level, I have always preached that things happen, that characters grow, that characters change, that bad things happen to you, and that you should be ready to accept them, because that's part of the game. But it just felt like everything this game was, like, created specifically to shit on me. You know what I mean? Like, all of these situations were presented in such a way that I lose. And there isn't really a method by which I win, because even if I win, I lose. And it's like, kudos for not pulling any punches, and that these punches were coming, and that the chickens were coming home to roost eventually, that the bad things were gonna happen, and there's nothing I could do about it, because, hey, I got mixed up with demons, and you know what happens when demons get involved? Even if you win, you lose. Like, I just, like, I have such respect for the shapers that like put me through this, and I trust them enough to let them put me through this. In that this is a season finale. And if you've ever experienced a season finale of any show you've ever loved, you know it is when all the shit, all the crap from that whole season comes home. It comes home to roost, you know? It all has to shake out and resolve, and like bad shit has to happen. And then at the start of the next season, characters have changed and characters have grown and things have become different, and all of that, you know, it's cool and it's important and it's necessary and it's good. And like, all I can say is anyone who would accuse our shapers of any kind of favoritism, yes, Tammy is my roommate, she is one of the head shapers, has no fucking idea what they're talking about. I got my ass stepped on this entire game, and I'm not even done. Okay, I'm not even done. Alright? Okay. So, that prayer to Sybil. Then, we hear that there's a demon going up to the fort to, like, do some shit like the undead did, and I don't want that. So, we head out, and it's a beholder. It's like a big eyeball demon with tentacles. Shit. And we gotta deal with it, you know, right away. So I've rememorized only psionics. So of course I have exorcisms at my disposal now, which is like, you know, I decide that this is the thing I'm going to kill. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill it myself. I'm angry. I need to prove to myself that even without witchcraft, I am a force to be reckoned with. I am a power to be moved away, like moved out of the way of, you know. I am something to like push through and fucking I let it all out on this fucking beholder. I burned my whole pyramid to the ground, basically. Every ego burn I had, every ego rend, every ego flay, just like all of the damage. And then I started in with the exorcisms. I exorcised this fucking demon 11 times. 11 times! I hit it with 11 exorcisms! I did like 3,000 total damage to this fucking demon over the course of all the spells that I threw. Like, I was in full, like, fuck you mode, basically. I did not want whatever this thing was to fuck with the portal. I didn't want it to, like, get any further damage on anything. Yeah. I did damage equal to killing a few hundred players. To this thing. But, yeah, so, you know, killed it, looted it. It only had gold, unfortunately, which is not super useful to me, but I just dumped it into Victor's hands, because that's what I do with gold. My good friend Victor, Weaver of Erasmus, here you are, gold. And then that was that. That was Sunday, and I went to bed. Monday, we knew the portal was coming. We knew Chernozog was coming. We knew we'd have to do the last fight, the final fight, the very last thing that we have to do. The Orb of Corruption. The Orb of Corruption and the fucking Essence of Chernozog need to be dealt with. The final fight of 3 years worth of plot is coming to a head. And of course, you know, Monday morning is the time when people decide to engage in PvP. because that's smart. Right before our final, most important, most difficult, most grueling possible fight, that's when we'll engage in some fucking friendly ass PvP. I don't really know what happened. All I know is that 7 players died when they tried to attack Archer's character, who they were claiming is Ash Nadir, but it looks completely different, and I have no idea how they would know that. So, 7 players died when they attacked Ash, or whatever. I'll just say Ash for now. 7 players died when they attacked Ash because he's stacked to the fucking 9s with rituals that'll fuck your day up. He'd been casting rituals like the whole game, and he just like, it was the most pointless thing. Like, I don't understand what happened, but whatever. It's not important to me. I went up to the fort and I sat there and I waited for the portal to open with all the other people who fucking cared about it, like Iman and Aerolith and N. We just sat there and waited while all this other shit was happening. Because the important part was getting through the portal, fighting Chernozog, getting this done. We had a plan. Argus was going to grab the Orb of Corruption. He was going to take it. He was going to take it through the portal that would lead to the jail, that it would be the Graven jail that it would be kept in for eternity. May was going to destroy the essence of Chernozog. And anyone else who tried to do anything else with either of those things was going to suffer consequences. They were going to get slept. If they approached and their intentions were anything other than what we had already decided, they were going to suffer consequences, basically. Like, we made it very abundantly clear before we headed through the portal that was what was going to happen. So the town rallied to head through the portal. The portal opened. I think I was like the 3rd one through. And we emerged into hell. Chernozog's realm. And we can see him standing in the distance alone. And we start to approach and he goes, "You think you can defeat me here? I will rend your souls!" The regular demon shit. And then he says, "Rain of fire!" And all these white headbanded NPCs start chucking handfuls of packets into the air, calling 10 elemental fire as they land. Like, this is the fucking start of the mod. He just, like, raises a hammer and rains fire upon us. 10 elemental fire per packet. Big fucking chunk-ass handfuls of packets getting thrown into the air. I charge immediately. I am the first one to hit Chernozog. I am up in his face with an exorcism first. That is it. And then he swings. And he swings hard. He does not hold back. He goes, "Obliterate!" And he swings at me. And I catch it on my sword. And I push it back. And we have a moment of like, did that hit me? No? Okay, we're good. And then we're back in the fight. And I'm backing up. And now there's more demons spawning everywhere. Coming in. Attacking. Killing everything. It's just like, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare mod. We are getting fucking wrecked. And the Orb of Corruption is walking around the battlefield, manifested as Silt. Tammy's playing Silt, the Orb of Corruption, swinging like 10 arcane, 10 arcane, 10 arcane, just like randomly, which is like, you can't stop it. If it hits you, you're hit, and it'll fuck you up. And occasionally throwing, magic death, fucking shatter skull, whatever she wants, as she just like walks around the battlefield completely invincible, like chopping people up. And Chernozog is swinging like either 20 slays for like elemental massive damage or obliterates, basically. And I go in for more exorcisms, like, it's time to exercise. Run in, throwing packets, I'm like, exorcism, mana harvest, exorcism, mana harvest, exorcism. And then he goes like, comes at me and swings in. Arcane Obliterate. And he hits me. Now, Obliterate is death, but it is immediate, and you take 2 deaths. So, you don't fall to the ground, you just turn to dust. Your stuff falls to the ground, you turn to dust, you head to plot camp, you take 2 deaths. I had already died once this game, which meant that I'd already used up one of my free deaths. And that meant that I would have to flip a coin to see if Aeryn died permanently. Because 1 death would be free, but the 2nd death, I would have to flip a coin. Needless to say, I was gutted. But then was not the time to be upset. I needed to flip the coin. I needed to see what happened. Right? Dropped my stuff. Victor snatched it up. And Iman saw me get obliterated. She saw it happen. It turns out that Chernozog was going after anyone who hit him with exorcisms with obliterates. Like arcane obliterates. If you exorcised him, he came after you with an obliterate. That was what I was told, you know what I mean? And like that was how it went. And I don't feel any guilt or about it or whatever, like or like I don't feel harsh feelings about getting hit with a mechanic and then having to suffer the consequences of that mechanic. But that is what happened. I got arcane obliterated. So I'm out of the game at this point, and everybody's fighting, and there's no shapers to like do the flip and figure out if I resurrect or whatever else. I put my hand on my head and I step back and I watch. And the fight goes on, it looks like we're getting our asses kicked and we're getting beat up and so forth. And then I see Iman on the battlefield, and she is screaming. She is screaming and crying and like sobbing at Chernozog as he like approaches her, and everybody's like beating on him and he's like approaching her, and she's like, you know, he goes, "I'll rend your soul," and she's like, "Do it! Do it! I have nothing left!" You know, like she is distraught. She's like, "There's nothing you can do! There's nothing you can do that'll hurt me!" You know, like having seen me be obliterated, right? Like I can hear her like screaming my name, basically. And I don't know how you don't get emotional seeing that, you know? Seeing that like level of roleplay and like that dedication and that like oh, so good, you know? 'Cause she's worried that I'm not coming back, right? It's possible that could be the end of Aeryn forever. And what she was trying to do, she told me, was she'd activated an ability called Tooth for a Tooth, which allows you to reflect the next 3 things that hit you. She was hoping to bait him into obliterating her. That was her plan. She was like crying and screaming and yelling at him and taunting and like asking him to go as hard as he could to fucking destroy her so that she could reflect and obliterate into his face. That's what she wanted to do to him. Thankfully, he was killed before he could get to her. Like, this was the end of the fight. He's like lumbering towards her and he's getting beat on by everyone behind, and he's swinging and she's dodging when it's not an obliterate because she doesn't want to reflect something that's not the obliterate, right? And he goes down while she's still alive. Thankfully. I didn't want her to take 2 deaths. There's, you know, like roleplay wise, it's like, oh yeah, like such a good plan. Like reflect and obliterate into this nerd's face. but that, like, yeah, I didn't really want her to take 2 deaths. So he goes down. He does 25 feet radius, explosive death, 500 elemental fire. Which means, like, everybody that was close to him is just like, bleh. Like, fire immolates the whole area. And that's, like, it'll ruin anything, right? And then people rush in to try and, like, figure out the orb and the essence. And, like, I didn't really see any of this part because I went to plot camp at that point to go and wait and see what happened with my death, right? Yeah. That was sort of the plan then. So, sidebar on that. Basically, they then had to get all the bodies out of there while demons were still attacking them. And like get them lifed and all that stuff. Get the orb and get the essence and get out of there and do the things that needed to be done. But they also need to get all the dead people, you know? So that fight still continued for a little while. But I was up in plot camp. Here's some advice. When a player is waiting to see if their character, who they've played for 3.5 years, is going to final, be gentle. Be gentle with them, you know. And most people who are actually shapers or actually NPCs, you know, the interactions I had while I was sitting in plot camp were fine and like very comforting. Some people need to know when they shouldn't say stupid things. Like, yes, I can take it. Yes, I will accept the consequences of my actions and my death. But at that point, standing in plot camp waiting to hear my fate, even I'm a little bit testy. You know, even I'm a little bit like upset, you know? Just something to be considered. I got asked if it was worth it by someone, and I'm like, no, he just hit me for obliterate. It wasn't worth fucking anything. I died before I even got to participate in the fight, basically. You know? It wasn't worth shit. Like, I've been stepped on the entire weekend. My emotions have been crushed into the fucking ground for 3 goddamn days. And then I get obliterated, and you ask me if it was worth it. You ask me if the rest of the game was, like, real good or whatever. I'm like, oh, buddy, like, no, it wasn't. I should have stayed home, you know? Like, fuck. Anyway, like, that's neither here nor there. I was upset at the time. I probably wouldn't respond like that now if that was asked of me. Was it worth it? Well, I mean, I survived, so it's okay. If I had finaled, the worst part about me maybe dying there is that I had a trip coming up. I have a trip coming up to go to Jericho, the Eastern Guild, in June, July, the Canada Day weekend. And, like, why the fuck would I go to that if my character was dead? Like, the character that knows anybody out there. Why would I go? You know? Gotta cancel that. Like, if I had finaled, I would have to step back from the group that I have built, you know? Because you can't play the same character twice. You can't be part of the same friend group twice. I can't make another Gen Vespin and just, like, join again. That's not how it works. Like, if I had finaled, that was it. Like, so I was a little upset at the time, right? So I waited at plot camp to see what happened. Argus and I both had to make flips to see if we would die, because he carried the Orb of Corruption to the vault, and in doing so was obliterated. And so we both had to make flips to see if we survived. So I let him go first, and he had a little scene to do, and then a flip to make, and then I was next, and Wes, who's one of the owners, who was playing Chernozog and who obliterated me, and like all that stuff. Came up and he's like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "I'm ready," and I'm really I'm getting teary-eyed. Hang on. Hang on. So he comes up. And says, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he shows me the gold coin. He's like, "Dragon or rose?" I'm like, "Dragon." And I immediately look away. He flips, catches it, and it's silence. And there is like 5 seconds and I can't look. Oh, fuck. And it's dragon. Relief rushes into my system. I live. I fucking live. Oh. You can tell how I felt at the time. Whew. Fuck. I don't usually do this. Yeah. This is, yeah, it's a good one. Whew. And I so appreciate that. I so appreciate that it wasn't bullshit. That I didn't survive because someone wanted me to. Or that, Or that we just went, well, I flipped it and I looked, but, totally you succeeded. Yeah, definitely. You know, like, I am. Oh, fuck. I'm so grateful that it was above board, that it was a legitimate flip, and that I fucking lived. No GM bullshit, no punches pulled. It was the whole game. I fucking survived. Fuck. But the story isn't over, friends. I had to go resurrect. Whew. Okay. So, I went to go resurrect. I had already been waiting at plot camp for an hour, so fuck it, I just went back in the game. I emerged from the woods as if I'd resurrected in the fucking bushes. And stumbled out into camp. And the first person that seen me was Victor, and he was like, "Holy shit! Like, you're alive? Like, holy shit!" You know. And he actually had my stuff. He was bringing it back to camp, like all the stuff that I dropped. And he's like, you know, draping a robe around you, like one, get your robe back on, you know, because when you resurrect, you're naked. And then I start stumbling. My first question is like, "Where's Amon?" And I start stumbling up the path, looking for her. And she sees me down the end of the path. She's at the end of the path. I'm at the other end, and she sees me standing there, and she yells my name, and runs in a dead sprint towards me, like faster than I've ever seen her run, and basically just like tackles me, and like we are in this like emotional embrace of like, she thought she'd lost me forever, and I was back, and I was alive, and then she'd never let that happen again. And then she would never ever let me do that again. And you know, I'm sort of like, I don't remember the last hour. I didn't remember my death. All I remember was seeing the spirit of Chernozog ripped and torn, passing me in the aether. You know, like, so we had won. And I was comforting her, you know, like, I'm fine. I'm alive. I'm here. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. And she gets up, I get up, and we head into town to... she tells me that Chernozog's essence hasn't been destroyed, that it needs an expert or something, and I'm like, I will come and I will deal with it. I will go there. By the time I got there, it had been dealt with, but like, our whole camp was like, you know, Umaga like gave me this big verbal hug. Like, even N and I think may have embraced. I don't remember if that was in game or not. And we made it to town, and people were relieved. They were relieved to see that I was alive. People were, you know, coming up and like hugging me and like being emotional towards me and like patting me on the back and you know, all this other crap. And I don't understand how this character that I made, that is like such an asshole, that is like the She's been the worst person. She's a practicing witch. She's like a fucking evil bitch. And that people are relieved. Relieved that I'm alive. I don't get it. And I find out that Iman has been distraught while I've been gone. Inconsolable. And then I find out that someone, Adeline, had said that Iman should just grow up. And all that relief turned to just, like, anger. And Iman told me that she had already dealt with it. That she had already declared a hunt, basically, on Adeline. She had gone, she had come into Adeline's house, polymorphed her into a rabbit, and then said, I'm not going to kill you now, but I'm coming for you. And then left. Now, the Weaver of Rays, who was there, Eval, visiting. Rays is the god of vengeance, by the way, who was visiting and who is our friend, had also heard this. And as soon as she heard what had been said, she didn't say a word. She got up, she prepared a gas globe, and she walked over towards Adeline's house. And apparently what happened there was she paralyzed Adeline, cut the dragon mark off her face, and said, if you ever disrespect the Gen Vestment, if you ever say anything like that to Aeryn or Aeryn or any of them ever again, I will travel across oceans to kill you. And not just you, but your entire family and everything you have ever loved. I wasn't there. I was outside waiting to see what the result was. But I think Enholine heard it, so... you know, he's got his own stories from game. I didn't tell some stuff that, you know, that definitely has impact on our group, but that isn't my story to tell. And that was when game ended. Game was over. We put the orb back in the vault. We put the orb in the vault. We destroyed the essence of Chernozog. I broke a promise to my patron, but I kept my promises to the law and to Sybil. And now that I'm in this position, I don't know what Aeryn looks like. Cause she's not gonna cast witchcraft. I don't know what the character is anymore. But I'll figure it out. Fuck. And I think that's the end. That's the end of the stories for today. I'll hang around and we'll chat a bit, because I think we're gonna want to chat a bit on this one, you guys. You know, but I think that's the end of the VOD at least. So thanks for listening. That was my game. I got stepped on a lot and then obliterated. I am hoping that the games to come are resolving of what happened in that finale. We'll see. Aeryn had never died before this game, and then I took 3 deaths, executed by the law, and then obliterated. Fuck. Right? Alright. That's it. VOD's over. Later, friends. Alright. Alright, chat. I can now interact with you, friends. Oh, whew. Phew. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Annalene. Like, we gotta do something about that shit. Like, got here just in time for that one. Yeah, well, you know, it's been a bit of a doozy. What can I say? That's definitely a long LARP story, but it was a long game. There wasn't a single moment during game that I wasn't having some kind of emotional crisis. Like, fuck. I haven't really had a chance to haven't had a chance to really decompress properly. Whew. Yet, this is it. Whew. I'm okay. This is the shit I live for. Sub to Distracted Elf. Whew. Oh. No, seriously though, my subs dropped a whole lot during the weekend. Hit me up. I'm only teasing. Siobhan wrote a point of view, a favorite moment thread turned into a Mon point of view, thing. Thank you, Farg. Jay, thank you. So maybe I should read this. Should I read this this point of view thread from Iman's point of view, her favorite moment of game? You wanna hear it? Fuck. Can't promise I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm already there. It's fine. So, here we go. Mirrors. Thank you. Hearts. She saw Aeryn charge through the battle line of demons. Through the fire, straight to the source. Iman took a deep breath and bolted after her. This was the one chance we'd get to drive back Silt, to put a stopper on the poison that had been saturating this island for untold years. Her sheer force of will made physical in the blue blade in her hand. The events of the last few days had bent it, twisted it, isolated it from her patron, purified it. But undoubtedly weakened. Oh, fuck. Iman hoped that Aeryn would forgive her for ripping her work away from her. That she would find her feet on a stronger path. One that wouldn't be in service to a power that flourishes in ill will. But now was not the time to be lost in thought. Chernozog, Silt, survival, that's the focus. She glances around to do a head count of her braid. She sees some held up by demons. She sprints back to come at the demons from behind to clear their way forward. A few moments later, the demons are dead. Iman turns back to the front, ready for another charge at Chernozog. At his feet, she sees Aeryn. Iman rushes to her as fast as she can. She slides an arm to stop and slams her hand onto Aeryn's shoulder to transfer a moonlight mantle. But the magic doesn't take hold. Aeryn is crumbling, fading to dust until there's nothing left. No sign of her body or spirit, obliterated to the wasteland of hell. A moment, that's all the time Iman has to indulge in. A breath in to accept this reality, a breath out to do what she needs to be done. Chernozog, Silt, survival. So much death. Dante's face is drained, the ruins of what must be a dozen catalysts lay in his lap. People are taking longer and longer to find the resources to keep us going. The end is near. Desperation is obvious. There's one thing Iman can do, that one spell she's kept in her pocket this entire invasion, her last resort. She's not even sure if it's powerful enough to work, but there's nothing left, and she has to try and hope that Sybil can strengthen it. She mutters her incant, eyes glowing with a yellow light. She pushes herself into Chernozog's face. She screams and yells everything she can, anything she can think of to make him furious, to dare him to strike her with all he can. She wants him to try, because it doesn't matter. She'll follow Aeryn. She'll take Chernozog with her, and those left will be alive to deal with the orb. Her braid will survive. Chernozog rages at her, lumbering forward, his full fury in her direction. She matches him, backing away, waiting for him to build the intensity of obliteration, hoping that she can get him there. But the swings of his hammer are slowing. The force of the people piled onto his back, who are taking advantage of his distraction, must be wearing the demon. The toll of the battle is showing. He raises his hammer a final time in what must be the attempt to pull the energy required to rend her spirits asunder when he succumbs to the violence piled upon him. In the explosion of Chernozog's death, Iman can feel the fire sear her spirit out of her body, but it's not enough. The tether's still there. Moments later, she can feel the now familiar pull back of a life spell. She can't follow Aeryn now. Chernozog denied her the easy way out. Survival is what's left. Emotions later. Everyone needs to survive. She pulls herself to her feet and picks up her weapon to help carve the way through the remaining demons back to the portal. Woo! That's the Iman point of view on that last fight. There you go. That's what she wrote. Oh, fuck. This would make a cool comic. Yeah, our LARP would make a cool comic. You're definitely right. Ugh. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it struck me when I was oh my god, I got an eyelash in my eye. It struck me when I was when I came back to this apartment after all this, and I saw, looking around in my room, this drawing that Shavana did of our characters like a long time ago. This was like a year ago, more. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. And I couldn't help thinking to myself, like, maybe the demon part's over. But I tell you what, she's sure as shit not gonna worship Sybil. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. It's like maybe even more emotional than having died. I know that sounds stupid because death is the end. But like there is so much uncertainty. So much like left. I don't know. It's time to be that wise old crone in the cave in the forest everyone comes to for advice. I mean, I was already doing that. Arbiter Aeryn. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I definitely think there's some merit in like, and now we go after the demons that threatened us. That idea. On an out of game. Yeah. On an out of game level. On an out of game level, the shit is that like I lost my cool shiny thing. My cool shiny thing that I've been using for a long time that I thought I had a good handle on. I don't get to use that anymore. It's gone. Like, I'm not gonna do it. To have all of this happen and then go back to practicing witchcraft? No. I don't think I can. So, you know, like, the least important part of it, sorry for the sniffles. Yeah. The least important part of it is that, like, my stat card is weaker now. You know? In that, like, I'm not gonna perform witchcraft. And therefore I'm wasting XP because I have witchcraft. I'm not going to take advantage of rituals I can cast. Because I can. Because I have that ability. Because I'm making a character choice. Because I'm making choices. You know? And like, that sucks. What I'm hoping is that I'll be able to replace witchcraft with something eventually. Something else. Protections. Healing. You know? Something. Something else. I don't know. But first I gotta buy back a death so that I have at least one free death on my card. Jesus Christ. I want to go through this shit again. Memorize the Shatter Skull and erase Change Toad so you can spell parry. Just keep witchcraft for spell parrying. Yeah. Oh, fuck. But yeah, so I don't know what to do with her now. There's definitely a, like, I could have her go, like, because there's a god of magic named Salam. Let me pull up his tenets. I don't think Aeryn will ever worship a god or a dragon. I don't think that's her way. But you can use these things to sort of guide your roleplay in a certain direction. You know what I mean? And I think maybe there is some merit in, like, becoming, like, more of an actual, like, arcanist, you know, like magic in general, like knowledge of magic, instead of, like, I am a witch and my shit is demon deals, like, more like I am a very powerful mage sort of stuff. There are other really cool options that we were thinking of that could make Aeryn super cool and strong. Like, if we can get the Psionic Weapon ritual cast, Psionic Weapons don't decay when you spell strike with them. So they continue to be strong and you can continue to spell strike with them. If I had protections and a Psionic Weapon, I could fight with a Psionic Weapon and spell strike protections onto myself while I was fighting with the weapon and, like, take a sort of battle mage frontline, like, approach to things. You know, like, fight with my lightsaber, using my lightsaber to give myself spells quickly to defend myself. Like, oh, there's a big hit coming in, spell strike magic armor, spell strike magic armor on myself again, get in there. You know, that kind of shit. Like, there's some cool avenues that we can take and, you know, are gonna look at. I just, you know, it's difficult for me right now because, like, Aeryn's identity was, like, very tied up in the idea that she was a witch, you know, like, very tied up in the idea that she dealt with demons and that she was a negotiator and a talker and you know, like a finder of middle grounds and a bargainer, you know. But, you know, that could make her a very potent, like, council mage at some point, you know? Being able to talk like that, being able to negotiate like that, you know? Like, I don't know. There's, like, stuff that could still happen that's interesting and cool and there's potential. Because I'm not dead! Like, holy fuck, I'm not dead. You know? Jesus. Yeah, I mean, you know, I tried to do my demon deal negotiation with the Arbiter. That didn't work out super well, but, like, still negotiation, I guess. That experience of being a witch, though, is also something useful. Yeah, I mean, it makes me an expert for life. You know what I mean? Like, having been a witch, like, I know what the deal is when it comes to witchcraft and how that shit works and what that shit is and what you can do with it. Can't be a necromancer because that would corrupt the land and that would do the same thing to my group as if I just continued to be a witch and, like, fucking destroyed everything that I ever loved. Which is a shame because necromancy is, like, 100% the best sphere of magic in the whole game. It's also super illegal. So it's the same problem, you know?
Specialize in healing. The good stuff is always illegal. I know. Witchcraft, necromancy. The other like specialized sphere is called Sigil, but Sigil doesn't have any rituals, so I don't think it's worth it for Aeryn to get Sigil magic, which is like you draw a symbol on yourself and then activate it. It's not worth it to get Sigil magic because it doesn't have any rituals, and Aeryn has a lot of ritual slots, you know, and like lots of ritual power, so. It would be silly to pick something that I would then not be able to do any rituals with, basically. I mean, the sphere of magic she does have is psionics, yeah. Psionics is the sphere of magic she actually does have. Here, let me show you guys where you can see the rules for this game, just so like you know what you're working with. There is the rule books. You can download them for nothing. They are there. You can get them. They're on the website. There's the core rulebook and the frag rulebook. Frags are like the out-of-game currency of the game, you know, like the bonus stuff that you get for doing like volunteer work for the groups and stuff, and you can buy frag skills. But the core rulebook is the core rulebook, obviously. In the frag book, you can indeed actually buy a remort, which is like where you change your skills. I don't know that I would want to do it that way. I think there are narrative ways that I might be able to get rid of my witchcraft, which, you know, that's I'd prefer to do it that way than just be like, I had some frags, so I got a remort. You know, like, it doesn't feel like it's like super impactful. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, those are the rule books, if you're at all interested in them, and so on. The sphere of magic that I do have right now is psionics. So I do things like conjure psionic blades and then hit you with them for spell strikes. So instead of throwing packets, I can hit you with a sword and call spell strike ego burn instead of, you know, by force of will inflict ego burn and then throwing a spell. Like, I can get in your face with like lightsaber. My lightsaber moves, you know? That is the sphere of magic that I do have. The general consensus is that like protections is good with psionics because you're getting in close and like protections will protect you from dying. But like, I don't know. I'm open to whatever. I'm trying to figure it out, you know? Trying to figure it out. Definitely not nature. We have a lot of nature casters in our group, and I really don't need to be another one. It's super, 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 super unnecessary. Polymorph into a bear. Be a bear. Enjoy life as a bear. Bear. Narrative ways are much more fun. Exactly. Baron. All right, friends. So many bear jokes. I don't get it. Why bears? Why? What I definitely need to do is look at some ritual lists and see what I think like I could do to make my life more interesting. Psionic rituals are super cool. Augmenting your cool lightsaber is a cool way to go. You know, making it more effective and better and more useful. And also, like, the one ritual I did have on my spirit
during the game. Hypnotic gaze, which allows me to paralyze you with my eyes. You know? I get 5 seconds of eye contact and blam, paralysis. It's pretty great. I love it. It's very helpful. Helped me feel like a badass that one time. Very, very, very worth it. So many bear jokes. All right, I don't know if there's anything more to say. We're kind of petering out here. If there's anything else to ask or talk about LARP wise, if you want me to explain anything or talk about anything, or you want to ask any questions, now is your moment before I get the fuck out of here. Are the jokes unbearable? No. This is like minor compared to my pun shit. You need a decompression time. Probably. Yeah. Probably. I'm trying to decide if I want to be streaming this afternoon or if I want to just be like, ah, and then die. Like, in real life, you know? Thankfully, we have a lot of snack food left over from our food purchases this weekend, so I got like a bunch of beef jerky and stuff like that. It's great. It's good. It's gonna be a great lunch. And then that's, yeah. Jeez, this game was a fucking jackhammer to my face. The whole game. Like, here's the thing. The deaths, fucking whatever. Dying, that's a mechanic of the game. You're gonna die when you die. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. And, like, honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't happened before. I've been around for 3.5 years, for fuck's sakes. You know? The deaths, that's what it is. I wasn't expecting to get obliterated, but hey, like, it happens. You know? Like, fuck. That shit. I'm glad it was legitimate. I'm glad that no punches were pulled on that obliterate. Like, we obliterated you, but we'll just take your free one and then you can like go the fuck back home, you know? I went in first. I was the first fucking person attacking that stupid ass demon, and I deserve to get obliterated for that. I deserve to take some hits, you know? The deaths or whatever. Of course, I'm emotional about like losing my character. I'm emotional about the idea that I could have died forever. That would have sucked total butts, considering, you know, the situation. And like, the thing that really chafed, right? The thing that like really rubbed me badly was I was already trying to do my own redemption arc my own way. I was already trying to do it. I was already doing it. And then suddenly there's all these fucking hands, like, pushing me in directions that, like, I can't go, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was already trying to be a good person. I was already trying to weasel my way out of being this awful witch, right? Like I was already trying to figure out how to buy my way back to freedom. And then the opportunity to buy back that freedom was taken away from me forcibly, and like these other obligations were shoved in my face like the whole game. It was it. Like, how can I figure it out? I'm gonna try. I don't know what to do. And honestly, Jay, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a costume change to be done. It's possible. The robe that she wears right now is the physical manifestation of her own witchcraft contract. The like robe with all the lettering on it and stuff. Let me show you for those of you who don't know it. This is the wrong way. Rotate this, please. Not that way. That way. There we go. See, it's got like scribbles, all these scribbles on it. I don't know. I don't know if I would change it. There's also like a little bit of a like, this is a reminder. This is the past, you know, like goes from being a magic contract to being, you know, like just letters on paper, right? So to speak. I think there's something to be said for that too. Yeah, now it's a red letter. Yeah. Like, this is a reminder that these things happen and you can do these things. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's it for me today, guys. I think I gotta go deal with my feelings. um. Yeah, and like I'm gonna keep thinking about what I'm gonna do. You know, going forward, come figuring it out, and there will be more Aeryn. There will be more stories. The epic path is not over. This is merely, if Aeryn's life were in seasons, this is the closing of season 3. Season 1 was Pandora stuff. Season 2 was witchcraft stuff. Season 3 was Iman enters the picture and there's like muddiness about like the morals of things. And then this is the beginning of season 4. Whatever happens in, you know, Aeryn's arc in season 4 Aeryn, quote unquote. I'm excited to see what it is, you know. I wanna know. I wanna know as much as any of you do. So I'll see you for now, and thank you, Kimosabi, for the sub. Thank you everybody who subbed throughout all of this. I appreciate that a lot. I know I take a lot of time out of like actually streaming to go and do these LARPs, you know. And at one point I want to be getting some video for you guys. I want to have stuff to show you. But I just, it's difficult to do when I'm also like playing the game. You know? When pictures come out from this past game, I'm sure I'll show them to you. All right, that'll be it. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, friends. Goodbye. Later.